Hi, everybody. Welcome to week 9 of the law. An incredible Holy Week last week. I pray that you were moved the way that those of us here at Haven, Alaska were moved last week. I'm going to ask God to bless you and keep you as He approaches you. I'm going to ask that your hearts and minds and arms will be wide open. In Jesus' name, amen. Genesis chapter 32. Jacob also went on his way. The angels of God met him. Jacob saw them. He said, "This is the army of God." So he named the place Mahanaim. Jacob sent messengers ahead of him to his brother Esau. Esau lived in the land of Seir. It was also called the country of Edom. Jacob told the messengers what to do. He said, "Here's what you must tell my master Esau. Your servant Jacob says, I've been staying with Laban. I've remained there until now. I have cattle and donkeys and sheep and goats. I also have male and female servants. Now I'm sending this message to you. I hope I can please you." The messengers came back to Jacob. They said, "We went to your brother Esau. He's coming now to meet you. He has 400 men with him." Jacob was very worried and afraid. So he separated the people who were with him into two groups. He also separated the flocks and herds and camels. He thought Esau may come and attack one group. If he does, the group that's left can escape. Then Jacob prayed, "You are the God of my grandfather Abraham. You are the God of my father Isaac. Lord, you are the one who said to me, 'Go back to your country and your relatives. Then I will give you success.' You have been very kind and faithful to me, but I'm not worthy of any of this. When I crossed this Jordan River, all I had was my walking stick, and now I've become two groups. Please save me from the hand of my brother Esau. I'm afraid he'll come and attack me and the mothers with the children. But you have said, I will certainly give you success. I will make your children as many as the grains of sand on the seashore. People will not be able to count them." Jacob spent the night there. He chose a gift for his brother Esau from what he had with him. He chose 200 female goats and 20 male goats. He chose 20 female sheep and 20 male sheep. He chose 30 female camels with their little ones. He chose 40 cows and 10 bulls. And he chose 20 female donkeys and 10 male donkeys. He put each herd by itself. Then he put his servants in charge of them. He said to his servants, "Go on ahead of me. Keep some space between the herds." Jacob spoke to his servant who was leading the way. He said, "My brother Esau will meet you. He'll ask, 'Who is your master? Where are you going? And who owns all these animals in front of you?' Then say to Esau, 'They belong to your servant Jacob. They are a gift to you from him, and he is coming behind us.'" He also spoke to the second and third servants and told them and all the others who followed the herd what to do. He said, "Say the same thing to Esau when you meet him. Make sure you say, 'Your servant Jacob is coming behind us.'" Jacob was thinking, "I'll make peace with him with these gifts I'm sending on ahead. When I see him later, maybe he'll welcome me." So Jacob's gifts went on ahead of him, but he himself spent the night in the camp. That night Jacob got up. He took his two wives, his two female servants, and his 11 sons and sent them across the Jabbok River. After he had crossed the stream, he sent over everything he owned. So Jacob was left alone. A man struggled with him until the morning. The man saw that he couldn't win, so he touched the inside of Jacob's hip. As Jacob struggled with the man, Jacob's hip was twisted. Then the man said, "Let me go. It is morning." But Jacob replied, "I won't let you go unless you bless me." The man asked him, "What is your name?" "Jacob," he said. Then the man said, "Your name will not be Jacob anymore. Instead, you will be Israel. You have struggled with God and with men, and you have won." Jacob said, "Please tell me your name." But he replied, "Why do you want to know my name?" Then he blessed Jacob there. So Jacob named the place Peniel. he said, I saw God face to face, but I'm still alive. The sun rose above Jacob as he passed by Peniel. He was limping because of his hip. That's why the people of Israel don't eat the meat attached to the inside of the hip. They don't eat it to this very day. It's because of the inside of Jacob's hip was touched. Chapter 33. Jacob looked up, and there was Esau coming with his 400 men. So Jacob separated the children. He put them with Leah, Rachel, and the two female servants. He put the servants and their children in front of him, Leah and her children next, and he put Rachel and Joseph last. He himself went on ahead. As he came near his brother, he bowed down to the ground several times. But Esau ran to meet Jacob. He hugged him and threw his arms around his neck. He kissed him, and they cried. Then Esau looked up and saw the women and children. Who are these people, he asked. Jacob asked, they are the children God has so kindly given me. Then the female servants and their children came near and bowed down. Next, Leah and her children came and bowed down. Lastly of all, Joseph and Rachel, and they bowed down too. Esau asked, why did you send all those herds I saw? I hoped I could do something to please you, Jacob replied. But Esau said, I already have plenty, my brother. Keep what you have for yourself. No, please, said Jacob. If I pleased you, accept this gift from me. Seeing your face is like seeing the face of God. You have welcomed me so kindly. Please accept the present that was brought to you. God has been gracious to me. I have everything I need. Jacob wouldn't give in, so Esau accepted it. Then Esau said, let's be on our way. I'll go with you. But Jacob said to him, you know that the children are young. You also know that I have to take care of the cows and female sheep that are nursing the little ones. If the animals are driven hard just for one day, all of them will die. So you go on ahead of me. I'll move along only as fast as the herds and the children can go. I'll go slowly until I come to you in Seir. Esau said, then let me leave some of my men with you. Why do that? Jacob asked. I just hope I pleased you. So that day Esau started out on his way back to Seir, but Jacob went to Succoth. There he built a place for himself. He also made shelters for his livestock. That is why the place is named Succoth. After Jacob came from Paddan Aram, he arrived safely at the city of Shechem in Canaan. He camped there where he could see the city. For 100 pieces of silver, he bought a piece of land. He got it from the sons of Hamor. Hamor was the son of Shechem. Jacob set up his tent on that piece of land. He also set up an altar there. He named it El Elohe, Israel. Chapter 34. Dinah was the daughter Leah had by Jacob. Dinah went out to visit the women of the land. Hamor the Hivite was the ruler of the area. When his son Shechem saw Dinah, he took her and raped her. Then his heart longed for Jacob's daughter, Dinah. He fell in love with her and spoke tenderly to her. Shechem said to his father Hamor, get me that woman. I want her to be my wife. Jacob heard that his daughter Dinah had been made unclean. His sons were in the fields with the livestock, so they kept quiet about it until they came home. Then Shechem's father Hamor went out to talk to Jacob. Jacob's sons had come in from the fields. They came as soon as they heard what had happened. They were filled with sadness and anger. Shechem had done a very terrible thing. He had forced Jacob's daughter to have sex with him. He had done something that should never be done in Israel. But Hamor said to them, my son Shechem wants to marry your daughter. Please give him to her as your wife, as his wife. Let your people and ours get married to each other. Give us your daughters as our wives. We can have our daughters as your wives. You can settle among us. Here's the land. Live in it, trade in it, buy property in it. Then Shechem spoke to Dinah's father and brothers. He said, I want to please. I'll give you anything you ask. Make the price for the bride as high as you want to. I'll pay anything you ask me. I'll pay anything you ask me. Just give me the woman I want to get married to her." Then their sister Dinah had been made unclean. So Jacob's sons lied to Shechem and his father Hamor. They said to them, "We can't do it. We can't give our sister to a man who isn't circumcised. That would bring shame on us. We'll agree, but only on one condition. You will have to become like us. You will have to circumcise all your males. Then we'll give you our daughters as our wives, and we'll take your daughters as our wives. We'll settle among you and become one people with you. But if you won't agree to it, then we'll take our sisters and go." Their offer seemed good to Hamor and his son Shechem. The young man was the most honored of all the men in his father's family. He didn't lose any time in doing what they said because he was delighted with Jacob's daughter. Hamor and his son Shechem went to the city gate. They spoke to the other men in town. "These men were friendly towards us," he said. "Let them live in our land. Let them trade in it. The land has plenty of room for them. We can get married to their daughters and they can marry ours. But they will agree to live with us only as one condition. All our males must be circumcised just like they are. Won't their livestock and their property belong to us? Won't all their animals become ours? So let's say yes to them. Then they'll settle among us." All the men who gathered out through the city gate agreed with Hamor and his son Shechem. So every male in the city was circumcised. 3 days later, all of them were still in pain. Then Simeon and Levi took the swords. They were Jacob's sons and Dinah's brothers. They attacked the city when the people didn't expect it. They killed every male. They also killed Hamor and his son Shechem with their swords. Then they took Dinah from Shechem's house and left. Jacob's other sons found the dead bodies. They robbed the city where their sister had been made unclean. They took the flocks and herds and donkeys. They took everything that was in the city and out in the fields. They carried everything away, and they took all of the women and children. They took away everything that was in the houses. Then Jacob said to Simeon and Levi, "You have brought trouble on me. Now I'm like a very bad smell to the Canaanites and Perizzites who live in this land. There aren't many of us. They may join together again against me and attack me. Then I and my family will be destroyed." But they replied, "Should he have treated our sister like a prostitute?" Chapter 35. Then God said to Jacob, "Go up to and settle there. Build an altar there to honor me. That's where I appeared to you, where you were running away from your brother." So Jacob spoke to his family and to everyone who was with him. He said, "Get rid of the strange gods you have with you. Make yourselves pure and change your clothes. Come, let's go to Bethel. There I'll answered me when I was in trouble. He's been with me everywhere I go." So they gave Jacob all the strange gods they had. They also gave him their earrings. Jacob buried them under the oak tree at Shechem. Then Jacob and everyone who was with him started out. The terror of God fell on the towns all around them, so no one chased them. Jacob and all the people who were with him came to Luz. Luz, also called Bethel. It's in the land of Canaan. Jacob built an altar at Luz. He named the place El Bethel. There, God made himself known to Jacob when he was running away from his brother. Rebekah's attendant, Deborah, died. They buried her body under the oak tree below Bethel, so it was called Elon Bakuth. Then, after Jacob returned from Paddan Aram, God appeared to him again, and God blessed him. God said to him, "Your name is Jacob, but you will not be called Jacob anymore. Your name will be Israel." So he named him Israel. God said to him, "I am the mighty God. Have children and increase your numbers. A nation and a community of nations will come from you. Kings will come from your body. I am giving you the land I gave to Abraham and Isaac. I will also give it to your children after you." Then God left him at the place where he had talked with him. Jacob set up a stone pillar at the place where God had talked with him. He poured out a drink offering on it. He also poured out oil on it. Jacob named the place Bethel. That's where God had talked to him. They moved on from Bethel. Ephrath wasn't very far away when Rachel began to have a baby. She was having a very hard time of it. The woman who helped her saw that she was having problems. So she said to her, "Don't be afraid. You have another son." But Rachel was dying. As she took her last breath, she named her son Ben-Oni, but his father named him Benjamin. So Rachel died. Her body was buried beside the road at Ephrath. Ephrath was also called Bethlehem. Jacob set up a pillar over her tomb. The pillar marks the place of Rachel's tomb to this very day. Israel moved on again. He set up his tent beyond Migdal Eder. While Israel was moving in that area, Reuben went in and made love to Bilhah. She was the concubine of Reuben's father, and Israel heard about it. Here are the 12 sons Jacob had. Leah was the mother of Reuben, Jacob's oldest son. Her other sons were Simeon, Levi, Judah, Issachar, and Zebulun. The sons of Rachel were Joseph and Benjamin. The sons of Rachel's female servant Bilhah were Dan and Naphtali. The sons of Leah's female servant Zilpah were Gad and Asher. Those were Jacob's sons. They were born in Paddan Aram. Jacob came home to his father Isaac in Mamre. Mamre is near Kiriath Arba, where Abraham and Isaac had stayed. The place is also called Hebron. Isaac lived 180 years. Then he took his last breath and died. He was very old when he joined the members of his family who had already died. His sons Esau and Jacob buried his body. This is the word of the Lord. I pray that you're well. In all you do, seek him first.